In the beginning of the drama, we see our main lead, who is finally coming back from the market. But on her way, she meets three girls. Now they all are annoyed from her, so they all decide to beat her up. Even though she tries her best to explain that she didn't do anything, they all misunderstand her and beat her up. She tries to protect herself, however, she couldn't because they were three and she was only one, so she got beaten up by them. And now we see when she finally comes back from the market, her condition is miserable, and finally her anger bursts out on her three brothers. Here we know that she has three brothers and they all are handsome. So those three girls were their girlfriends. They rejected them. That's why they were fighting with our main lead, considering or thinking she was one of them girlfriend. Now we see that our main lead is quite furious. She tries to ask, but no one of them accepts that that girl was their girlfriend. So she becomes furious, and then she takes one of them photo and decides to send that photo to them, so she'll be able to know whose photo or whose boyfriend she was talking about. That said, she couldn't, and she was unable to find out the truth. Because of the frustration, she decides to beat up every one of them. First, she beats up her elder brother, then more of them. Here we know that she was only one sister. However, her mother decides to marry a man, and that man had two sons. So after the marriage, she gives birth to another son. So consequently, we see three handsome brothers and only one sister. From this moment onward, her brothers had a lot of followers, and there were a lot of girls who wanted to be with her brothers, and they all mistook her as her girlfriend. Then she decided to tell them that she was her sister. Upon knowing that, they all decided to give her a lot of letters. After that, we see our main hero, who is the main lead of this drama. And right now, he is busy working in his own life. We also know that he is trying to draw a picture of a girl, but is unable to draw it because he doesn't know who exactly that girl is. After that, we see a girl was sitting next to her boyfriend, but later on our main hero goes to her, and then upon seeing him that he might be interested into her, she decides to give him her number. Later on, the main lead gives that number to that girl's boyfriend and says she gave it to me by herself. Upon hearing that, he becomes astonished. After that, our main hero decides to go to her business trip. While he was about to leave, he sees through the mirror that boy is doing breakup with his girlfriend. Now he is hating her. Upon seeing that, he becomes a little happy for that boy because he was escaped from that girl. After that, we see our main lead, who is now talking to her boss. She is trying to impress him, but he is not in the mood to listen to her. So at a time, we see that boss is not interested into her talk. He is only focused on how to decorate his plants. After getting out, she gets frustrated and decides to hit the wall of the principal. Here we see a boy, Jin, who is quite honest, and he sees her doing that. Now our main lead knows that he will tell everything to the principal. And upon hearing that, the main lead did that, principal decides to punish her. We see that Jin did do it on purpose, but he has a habit to speak truth. After that, we see our main lead's brother, who is now dancing on the table. As soon as he sees her there, he immediately falls down. Then our main heroine catches her red-handed, and then she decides to give him a punishment. After that, she receives a call from her boyfriend, and then we know that our main lead, who doesn't like handsome boyfriend, has a boyfriend whose shape isn't very great, and upon receiving his call, she becomes happy. Now she is going to see him, visit him. After that, we see, upon hearing that, her brother is quite happy because he is finally going to get rid of her. Then we see our male lead's best friend, and we see how they both are working in the same school. After that, our main heroine asks her best friend to give her some clothes so she'll be able to look pretty, as she knows she doesn't have best clothes. Then we see she's becoming happy upon seeing the photos of both of them, because at a time her boyfriend was ugly, but now when she decides to meet him, she finds out that now her boyfriend has become quite handsome and he has done a surgery. Upon seeing him like that, she becomes astonished and she was taken aback. Mind you, she thinks that now, no matter what, he is handsome or rather he is bad. It doesn't matter because I like him and I like him because of his personality. However, he doesn't think like that and he behaves as if he is now a greater person than her. So he says to her that I want to break up with you. Upon hearing that, she becomes disheartened. Now we see she is drinking in the bar a lot. At that time, she decides to make strange look in front of every boy. However, upon seeing her like that, every one of them decides to take their leave. Then after that, she asks her brother what exactly is happening. Then her brother tells her this is a gay bar. Upon hearing that, she becomes taken aback. Then we see that one of her brother works in a gay bar and owns a gay bar. After that, we see now she is vomiting and quite frustrated. And after that, she decides to meet her best friend. There she eats a lot of food with her and tells her what exactly happened to her. Upon hearing her story, she also becomes sad and worried about her. After that, we see our main hero who is now walking. While he was walking, he stays into that outside of that shop. However, our main heroine is now trying to clean her vomiting. While she does that, our main heroine falls down. And when he sees the cleaning brush, he becomes agitated and decides to take his life immediately without saying even a word. Upon seeing him like that, she is quite astonished how he is behaving like that. After that, we see our main heroine who is now doing exercises, and after that, she decides to meet the sir. And now she is requesting him to help her out. However, sir has no intention to help her, and he is insulting her over and over and tries to make her understand that she needs to work hard. And now we see how she has become frustrated upon hearing his word, and she again decides to hit. This time the favorite pot of the sir falls down. We see a flower falls down. When she does that, she is now quite frustrated because the principal loves the most to the pot. And then we see how she finds again Jim here, and this time Jim again sees her, but he doesn't say much. Now we see when the principal was asking everyone who fell that pot, now she's quite afraid. But Jin tries to stop himself, however he couldn't, and then he tells that our male lead was the one who did it. Now as a result, she gets punishment, and now she is not happy because she had received another punishment, and now she is angry. She is feeling resentment. After that, we see our male lead's best friend takes her with her, and then we see again another girl who tries to buy a car. However, the owner of the car shop decides to throw her out upon seeing her clothes and thinks that girl is quite poor. How can she afford a car? However, we see that beauty can change the appearance, and we see that she has a bag full of money. From here, we know that people often judge someone with their appearance. In reality, it's not like that. We see Jean, who is now trying to apologize to our male lead by talking to her best friend. However, her best friend says she's absolutely fine, so you really don't need to worry. And after knowing that, he immediately goes back. Here, we know that he has feelings for our male lead but is unable to express them. How do you like it? If you like it, please do like.